Yeah, just what? Yeah, I've been putting off telling this story for a long time, trying to make sure it was good enough for people because the Lord has entrusted me with a powerful testimony to share. In 2019, I was lost to fornication, hard drugs, same-sex relationships, and
The whole gamut.
yeah, anything. And anyways, so I had a falling out with my mom maybe like 5-6 years prior, and we hadn't seen each other since then.
Wow.
She got a restraining order.
That's a
on
long
me.
time.
Yes, she got a restraining order on me because I wasn't a good son to her, to say the least.
Barry, do you have any brothers and sisters?
I don't.
Okay, only child.
Let me finish
Sure.
this story, Doug.
I might ask you some questions to put
Okay.
on the video.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm an only child, like only begotten son.
Wow.
So let's see. So fast forward. Yeah, the last time I saw my mom was at a Walmart. I saw her. She was at a McDonald's with her caretaker who was helping her. I saw her caretaker, who saw me, and then I saw my mom who didn't see me at all. And then I walked down the aisle of the Walmart too far away because I felt, this is too hard. I can't even talk to her. Like so much damage has been done between us, restraining order, me, and all the bad things I've done. And so I walk down that aisle and I just sit there, and my mom cruises up in her little mobility cart, and she's just looking down the aisles, looking for something to buy, but like I'm watching her cruise up. And that's the last time I saw her, was that because I had pulled away and I never saw her face again, Doug. Fast forward like 7-8 years later, who knows? I had become a truck driver over that time, but I've always had like instability issues with keeping jobs because of various issues. But I had thrown away the best job I'd ever had in 2019. I threw away a $100,000 a year truck driving job because I was having a bad day. Anyways, so I get a random text one day from, I believe, the morgue, saying they had my mother's body, Margaret Barr. They're gonna say Margaret Barr. We have her body, and you need to come take care of it. Basically, that's how it works. If your family next to kin needs to pick up the pieces. So I get that text message, and after that, I'm sure a lot of people can relate. The world stopped right there. Like everything stopped. And I started like looking at things a little different. Like everything. I would see like a little stone on the ground, and I would just think like how beautiful that, or the trees. And I'm doing that now, Doug. Like I'll walk up to a Christmas tree and I want to smell it. But I started like things were just different after that happened. And then fast forward, and I had a friend I had met in downtown Phoenix, in 17th Avenue, Camelback Road. If anyone knows that area, that's a rough part of town. So, but Trey, I loved Trey like a brother. He was one of the best friends I'd ever had. And anyway, so me and Trey, we had smoked earlier. I preference this because everyone needs to know what my frame of mind was in regards coming into it with what I'm about to say. So me and my friend Trey were meditating in my mom's apartment because I had been tasked with cleaning it out, picking up the pieces, right? But I needed help because I couldn't even hardly take a single box. I could not pick up the pieces of my life. My family would not help me pick up the pieces of my life. My immediate family would not wrap their arms around me. No one would come to me. No one I knew cared enough. No one was there saying, Barry, it's okay, we love you. So I turned to the streets. I turned to strangers. I turned to anyone I could find that would give me a shred of love, who would listen to me, who would talk to me, and anything. I turned to anyone, Doug. Anyways, so we're meditating, and I know how I describe this, Doug, and I don't want to give too many details because I don't want people trying this at all, because this is dangerous. I broke through, and this is how I put it. I broke through, Doug, to like a different space, right there, a different space through meditation. But it wasn't a good breakthrough with meditation at all, because when I broke through, I felt like the devil had entered me, and literally the words out of my mouth and what was in my mind, I thought it was the devil, and I said it out loud, and then I walked to my window, and then I did something else. We're sparing some stuff here. But after I had done that, I felt immediate fear come over me, Doug. Immediate sense of fear and murder. I felt something, fear and murder moving towards me from outside of my mom's apartment. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it, right? So I walked out to see what it was. And lo and behold, two demons were standing out there in an alleyway, looking directly at me. They'd been walking towards me quickly, and they spoke audibly. I hope you're ready, Barry. And I replied, you better believe it, because I've been waiting my whole life to see what was out there, because I always knew there was something behind the scenes. So I said those words, but then realized everything else had kind of sunk in at the same time, and I wisely retreated, because that's what I thought to do. I didn't know about authority or this and that. So I retreated back into my mom's apartment, locked the door, this and that. I go to the kitchen, and I'm looking for something to defend myself with against what I think are like assassins, whatever's going through my mind, people trying to kill me. But I grab a steak knife and I grab a butter knife. Those are like the options. And I think to myself, the steak knife is for me, right? Because I could be that. I could be a pointed blade. I could take a man's life. And then a butter knife for my friend Trey, who is one of the most gentle people you've ever known. And I realized that, so I was handed to that. So I'm giving him a butter knife. He couldn't even use that. He would just be like, whoa. Anyways, I give him that, and I'm still in ultimate panic mode with some of the greatest fear ever put over me. I retreat into another room, and I start to scream. I start to scream at the top of my lungs, absolute top of my lungs, crying out, "Call the police! Call the police!" And I woke up every person in that apartment complex unit, possibly beyond, at the top of my lungs. But I realized that I was calling for the wrong help, right? Because I realized, okay, maybe those aren't even people. It just started coming across my mind. What is that? But I need to call out for God. It just came out. So I call out, God, help me, God. Just like deafening cries, as loud as I could. And then my friend rushes in the room. He's like, Trey, he's like, well, what's going on, Perry? What's going on? Because he didn't know what's going on. And he calms me down. I tell him what I saw, and he's like, there's no one out there. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because that's ridiculous. I couldn't have seen that. That's impossible. So I agreed with him, and I walked out. I already put down the steak knife and this and that. I wasn't ever going to hurt any person with it. That was like a defense thing.
Yeah.
So I walked out immediately, and guess, lo and behold, the police are there, because I called for the police, and they were there rapidly. Like when someone's crying that loud, they are on their way. Anyways, so the police show up, and the firefighters, they check me out. I'm good to go. So I walk out. I walk. So they leave. Doug Trey leaves. He didn't want to hang out with me anymore. He's like, I'm going home. You know, he's got his apartment. A tough night for him. He's like, I didn't sign up for this.
You sign up for it.
No way. He didn't know that was just the beginning. This is like a 3+ hour story, Doug, that I'm summarizing as best as I can. So I'm skipping over a lot of details.
Sure.
What's most important. So I realized I had called out to God, and I'd also realized I've been kind of thinking about God too lately. I've been thinking about like where do we go? Because my mom always kept telling me about heaven. I remember that, and about Jesus. And she said we would have glorified bodies in heaven, because that was something she felt bad about her body. She felt like her body wasn't like when she was younger, you know. That just is one of those things. She had put deposits of faith into me, deposits of love into me my whole life. So anyways, police left, firefighters left, and I'm looking for God. Like I can just find him, Doug. Like I can just find him. He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there, and I can walk to him, and I can just start talking to God, and meet him. So I'm walking down, and I'm gonna briefly tell this part. I normally omit this part, but I had gone my own way. So originally, in life we have choices. We can go God's way, right, like a fork in the road, or our own way. So initially, I was walking towards my own way, and it felt awful. Like every step, it just felt like fear. Every single step was difficult, and it was like it was against me even trying to walk that way. But anyways, I got into another issue and the police showed up. I got into an altercation with a man because of my state of mind. Anyways, I got turned around and started walking the right way this time, and this felt good walking this way. Like there's like the resistance isn't there, the fear isn't there, and my feet are just moving. All of the street lights down the street started lighting up, one after another in succession. They were lighting up along, and I'd never seen that before. So I started to follow the street lights. I started because I'm looking for God. That's my thing. I'm going to keep going this way, and I'm going to keep looking for him. So I follow those street lights. Eventually, I get to a crossroads, like I mentioned before, another crossroads, and I had a choice. I had a choice to cross one way or once again go my own way, right? And then initially I made that decision. I'm thinking, why am I following this? Why am I going this way? Why don't I just do what I want? And I made that decision briefly. I'm like, this isn't. I thought it wasn't the way to go. But across the street, there was a man there with a little flashlight across the street, and he started pointing it at the ground, just trying to like signal me like this way, right? Come here, this way. So, and why I trusted that, Doug, was because I had met men on the streets. A man named Chandler in Phoenix, if anyone knows him, something we were doing. So I had begun to trust certain things that he taught me, just things that I trusted. And I'm not going to go into all that because I don't need everyone knowing like certain little things I trust that people don't even understand. So anyways.
But that was...
No, let me finish talking. We're wrapping up.
Sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. So he does that, and I realize, okay, I need to just go that way, go over there. And that was a good decision. I immediately felt that. I was like, okay, yeah, this is okay. So I end up that way, across the street again, end up at a bus stop. There's a man sitting there at the bus stop, and I'm just yapping his ear off basically with nonsense coming out of my mouth, and he won't even acknowledge me. I start to get angry a little bit that he won't say a word, but eventually I get quiet. I get quiet, Doug. And then the bus arrives, and he says, "We're here," that made me happy when he said that. I was like, "Oh, he spoke." That's like an acknowledgement, that I'm here. He sees me. Anyways, so I get on the bus. There's people on the bus, and I take a seat back. I just end up in a spot, and then there's two men, another two men talking to each other about that time they saw two demons. Right, that they're talking about that, and it just instantly came to me. I knew that they were talking about what I just went through, right? Literally, not even like an hour or two before. So they started trying to tell my story, and I was like, whoa, that is my story. That is my testimony. I got up and I told them what I just told you here, and so I'm talking to the one man on the left, and I started babbling some nonsense to him, just things that are coming out of my mouth that really don't make sense. But then I also said, like, did you know God ranks his angels based on intelligence? I'm just this is what came to mind, and he nodded to that, and I'm not even sure where I heard that from, but I guess that maybe that's true. But anyways, and then I started saying some other stuff to him, and then he's just like, you know what I think we should do? And then there's another man, not the man that they were conversing with in the beginning, but there's like another man, and he walks up to him, and he stands up, and he says, "How can I help you, sir? What can I do for you, sir? God bless you, sir." Like he is there, ready to assist that man. That right there, like that man needs help. He is there, and he was very militant about it. I remember that, like a soldier. And so we're wrapping up the conversation, and I ask him, "What's your name?" And he says Angel, and I say, "Just Angel?" And he nods. So Angel. So and he says, "I gotta go." And he gets off the bus, and then as I'm about to sit down, the man he was talking to, trying to tell my story to, not the man he was praying over, trying to help, said that he had left something for me in a few seats back, and this was like further back than I was even sitting originally. It had either been there the whole time, or I don't even know. But there was a Snickers bar and a Sprite sitting on the bus seat for me, and I sat down and I ate it. And how I tell that story today is that I saw demons, I met angels, and God had sent me a message, because angels are messengers, to help people. Great. That was the message, and what he wanted me to do was to help people. And he left me food, like in the Bible, like with prophets and this and that, what they've gone through. Sometimes angels would bring them food. Even Jesus, after his 40-day fast, where the devil tempted him, right? The devil tempted him, with trying to give him the world and this and that if you bow to him. But I was given that provision too, and that fueled me through the night. But
okay, cool.
That's my testimony. One of them.